Hola amigos y amigas, you are now with Jocelyn, and as always, I am so grateful that you are here, that you aligned with my channel and press play on one of my videos. I do want to acknowledge the fact that we are exchanging energy right now. Even though we're not together in person, we are both exchanging energy through these digital frequencies, and that is why, my friends, it is so important for us to be mindful of the content that we consume on a day-to-day basis, because it is impacting our thoughts, our vibration, our being more than we realize. So if you need to go detoxing your social medias, who you follow, the pages that show up on your timeline, you are in control of that. So go detox in light of these cycles that are ending and the new cycles that we are stepping into. Now, if you are a returning subscriber, you already know what we're going to be getting into in this video. And if you are new here, welcome. I would love for you to subscribe and join this growing community. And while you are detoxing your socials and all the platforms on your phone, on your computer, the timelines that you visit every single day, if you want to subscribe to more high vibrational content, you want to give this new up and coming YouTuber a chance, and really just want more self-development videos, more journal prompts, more guidance on your spiritual journey, more vlogs, then I would love for you to join my growing community, because let me tell you, I am not going anywhere, okay? I am committed to growing my channel. It is something that I have been wanting to do for the longest time, and I am so happy that I have been putting out more than one video every single week for the entirety of this year so far, and that is going to continue. I'm going to continue to get better, and I'm honestly excited to get better at editing videos and coming up with new content and just sharing my life and my thoughts and my journey with you all. So enough of that. Let's get into these 8 journal prompts for this upcoming new moon in Gemini that also just so happens to be a solar eclipse. Just like the full moon that we just had, that was also a lunar eclipse, this new moon is also a solar eclipse. So the themes that are surrounding this new moon are so heightened and empowered, and without getting so much into it, because I personally am not an astrologer, and we're also going to be touching more on the themes as we go through the journal prompts, but just trust that you are where you're meant to be, and everything that is going on in your life is trying to teach you something. So I highly encourage you to become curious about what lessons are showing up in your life right now, meant for you to learn from, to grow from. Okay, there's a lot of endings going on right now in a lot of people's lives, whether they are aware of it or not. And with endings come new beginnings. So even if you're not completely clear on your life path or what is going on or the transformations and where they're leading you, know that everything is working in your favor. And you have control over how it is that you respond to life, how it is that you respond to these changes. We're going to be getting into that in one of the prompts. Just be committed to learning your lessons. I'm starting to feel like that is one of the most important things in life, is learning your lessons and practicing them and really implementing them into your life, so that you're continuously stepping into new cycles and not repeating old ones, learning the same lesson because you're not fully getting it, okay? So again, without saying too much, let's go ahead and dive into these prompts, because they're so good and they're intended to help us continue to reflect on what's going on right now. So let's get into it. Reflecting on a year ago today, what themes am I revisiting or are revisiting me? Now, I know that this prompt can be a little triggering because I already know that all of us a year ago today, in this season of life, in this season of the year, summer 2020 was a lot of life changes, a lot of unexpected shifts, a lot of density, a lot of whoo, oh my goodness. Can we just congratulate ourselves for being here today? You know, and for, I mean, the simple fact that you press play on this video tells me that you're someone who invests in their self-development, in their growth, in their spiritual journey. And congratulations, okay, for being someone who is intentionally investing in themselves, especially through the year that we just experienced. And the reason why I want us to reflect on where we were a year ago today is for us to really fully realize, oh my goodness, everything that we have survived, everything that we have overcome, the lessons that we have learned, and perhaps some of the themes that are coming up for us right now, because I know that you will find at least one, whether it's regarding communication, whether it's regarding relationships, whether it's regarding your career or your home life, whatever the case may be. Reflect on where you were a year ago today. What were you experiencing around that time? How were you feeling? And what are you experiencing right now? How are you feeling right now? Do you notice any similarities? And what growth do you notice as well? Okay, it is so important for us to take time to acknowledge the growth, to acknowledge everything that we have overcome and survived and grown through, and be proud of ourselves, okay? So, revisit where you were a year ago today and create a safe space for yourself to do so. How does the higher self I am today respond to life? Now, for some of you who may be hearing this and be feeling like, but I'm not my higher self right now. Listen, you are your higher self. Don't ever think that you are not your higher self. You are your higher self every single day. And I wanted to follow up the last prompt with this prompt because I already got you thinking about everything that you've grown through, everything that you've overcome. So the simple fact that you've gone through all of these changes since last year, you're already a different person. You already have learned so much more. You have already grown since then. So compared to who you were last year, whether you believe it or not, whether you see it or not, you are your higher self. So how do you respond to life now as your higher self? How do you respond to challenges? How do you respond to obstacles? How do you respond to relationships? How are you finding yourself responding to life differently as your higher self that you are today? Through all the lessons that you've recently learned, through all the cycles that you are currently outgrowing and becoming aware of. How do you respond to life? And if you want to take this prompt a little further, then ask yourself from the perspective of, as I continue to learn these lessons, like, how do I desire for the higher self that I'm becoming? You know, the next levels, the higher levels that you're going to be stepping into as your higher self. How does that version of you respond to life? If you're not completely satisfied and you feel like you could improve on, which we always can, how you are responding to certain things, then if you want to go ahead and acknowledge that, if you feel called to acknowledge that while you are writing this prompt and reflecting with this prompt, then go ahead and do so. But remember, your higher self is you. You are your higher self. What important lessons have I learned regarding communication? Ooh, I already know that all of us have learned how important communication is in our relationships. So take time and hold space for yourself to really sit down and write down and reflect on what exactly those lessons are. Why is communication important? What kind of communication do you appreciate? What have you learned about yourself and how you yourself can be a better communicator? Where have you noticed is more difficult for you to communicate? In what kinds of situations or environment or even specific people do you find yourself being a little more hesitant to communicate with, or you find it harder to communicate with them? Just everything that has to do with communication and the people in your life, the situations in your life. What lessons have you learned regarding communication? Because this is a very important theme that has come up for all of us, for the collective. Because y'all, you don't have to tell me twice. A healthy relationship requires consistent, open, honest communication, okay? If we're not gonna be real with each other and communicating and telling each other what's up, and also letting each other know what makes us feel safe so that we can communicate vulnerably and honestly, like, I'm definitely doing this prompt, and I'm going to be reflecting on how important communication is very often, because it has become such a core important value in my life that I appreciate so much. I am so grateful for every person in my life who communicates honestly and openly and consistently with me, because that tells me that they are invested in a healthy relationship with me. Don't even get me started, y'all. Communication, whoo! Yes, let's all be better communicators, okay? When I think of recent self transformations, what newfound sense of self is emerging? I already know that all of us feel ourselves shifting and changing and transforming into a new version of ourselves. I already know it. And because we are experiencing such a powerful new moon that is going to intensify that feeling of a newfound sense of self that is emerging right now, that is coming out, I really wanted to create a prompt where you're able to sit down with yourself and recognize that feeling that you have been feeling. It's almost, it might even feel like a I mean, we all may be responding to that newfound sense of self differently. It might make you feel like you don't recognize yourself anymore. It might make you feel uncertain because you are finding yourself stepping into so much newness, or no longer resonating with a lot of things. So because of that, you might also be grieving. You might feel confused again, because we are in the season of Gemini, and Gemini is an air sign. Air sign is connected to our thoughts and being in our head. There could be a lot of overthinking going on right now. So with all of these prompts, take a deep breath so that when you approach your reflections, you are approaching them from a very grounded, centered state where you can become the observer, which goes into the next prompt. But again, it is really important for us to acknowledge the transformations that we are experiencing in life, Because if we are seriously committed into stepping into new cycles, into really embodying this newfound sense of self that we are feeling, and we really want to welcome it, it's important for us to become aware of exactly what that is and what that looks like and what that's feeling like right now in this moment. So since you feel this new you emerging, think of the recent self-transformations that have contributed to that feeling. And also, just as you're answering this prompt, be asking yourself, what does this new version of me look like? What does this new version of me like to do? What does this new version of me resonate with? What does this new version of me appreciate? What does this new version of me value? Just get very, very, very specific. I felt called to specify and get a little more detail with this prompt because it is so important with this prompt and with every prompt to be as detailed and specific as possible, especially when we are talking about what we're letting go and what we're welcoming, when we're talking about our higher selves. Because when we get detailed and specific, we're able to really vividly visualize. And when we can vividly visualize, we can vividly and transparently and fully feel. And when we can really feel something, we are shifting our vibration. So, because you are your higher self, and this higher self is continuing to evolve within you, and this new version of your higher self is emerging right now in this moment. What does that higher self look like, feel like, value, enjoy, love, reflect? All right, next one. Since I am the observer of my thoughts, what have my recent thoughts looked like? And what thoughts am I shifting into? So, the intention of this prompt is for us to recognize the power behind being the observer of your thoughts. And for those of you that don't fully comprehend what that means or what that looks like, to give you a quick example, let's say that you spent all morning thinking about a past relationship in your life. And you finally, with this prompt, are getting into a moment of stillness and reflection, and you're realizing, wow, I literally spent all morning thinking about this past relationship. So, okay, now you're already in the state of being the observer. You are observing your thoughts that you had this morning. So, you keep going deeper into that as the observer, and you ask yourself questions like, okay, how did these thoughts of my past relationship make me feel? How did these thoughts impact my day? Why was I thinking about this past relationship so much this morning? Was it a dream that I had last night that got me thinking about this relationship? Was it that text? Right, I was talking to my friend about this relationship last night, so maybe that's why I've been thinking about this person all morning. So really utilizing the power of being the observer of your thoughts to get to the root of where your thoughts are coming from. Because when you become aware of the root of your thoughts, of how your thoughts make you feel, how they impact your day and your mood and your vibration, then with that awareness, you have the power to shift them. That's why I added that other aspect to this prompt where I'm encouraging you to reflect on, okay, these are the thoughts that I have been having lately, and these are the kind of thoughts that I want to be shifting into, or I already am shifting into. So be observant of the thoughts that you have been thinking, while also being observant and reflectional on the thoughts that you want to be thinking, the thoughts that make you feel good, the thoughts that make you feel empowered, the thoughts that really impact your day in a positive way. So there is that duality, or maybe you already have been thinking good thoughts and you don't want to get rid of those. And if you have been thinking beautiful thoughts, then beautiful. I love that. But I did want to create this prompt because we are in Gemini season with a Gemini new moon. And there could be a lot of, like I mentioned earlier in this video, I think a lot of overthinking going on because air signs do have a correlation with your thoughts and your mind, and just kind of like that airiness. And I just really want us to recognize the power of being the observer of your thoughts and not allowing your thoughts to overpower you, to have control over you. As soon as you become the observer and you realize that you are not necessarily your thoughts, that not all your thoughts are necessarily true, because sometimes the things that we are thinking are not even thoughts that are originally ours or really truly our true essence of who we are. Sometimes the thoughts that we have are highly, I would actually say most of the time, the thoughts that we have are highly influenced, again, by the content that we consume every day, highly influenced by the conversations that we engage with, by the work that we do, by the coworkers that we communicate with every single day, by our relationships, by anything that is contributing to your mind and to your consciousness is contributing to the thoughts that you are having on a day-to-day basis. So sometimes, most of the time, a lot of the thoughts that you're thinking don't even belong to you. They belong to someone else. So when you become the observer, you realize that. You realize the root of things. So that, my friends, is the intention of this prompt, and I highly recommend that this be one of the ones that you choose. What love-based choices have I made in life, and how did they make me feel? I really want us to take time to think about some decisions that we have made in life, whether it was recently or a long time ago, but it really sticks out to us because of how significant that choice or decision was, that you know you made from the heart, that you know you made out of love. I really want us to think about those choices, and I want us to think about how they made us feel and how they influenced and played a role into who we are today. Because the choices that we are going to be making this year, and increasingly so in this season, as we experience this solar eclipse, as we experience this new moon, as we step into new cycles, as we become more consciously aware and jump into higher timelines, into higher vibrations, it is really, really important for us to remember to be heart-centered, to make decisions out of love. And if you ever catch yourself having trouble deciding between one decision or another, ask yourself which decision is love-based and which decision is fear-based. And sometimes the love-based decision or choice that we make is not going to be easy, but we know deep down that it's the right one. And the reason why I created this prompt is because I want to remind us of how worthy it is to always make the love-based decision, to always make the choice that we made from the heart. And if you are reflecting on your love-centered, heart-centered decisions, and you feel like your heart led you astray, or choosing to love, choosing a love-based decision led you astray, then you're confusing love and you're blaming love for something else, because love will never lead you astray. Your heart will never lead you the wrong way, okay? So the choices that we're going to be making stepping into this new season of our lives, they're going to become increasingly important and potent to the direction of which our lives go. The choices that we're making right now, as we are in the midst of our transformation, are incredibly, incredibly important. And I really wanted to emphasize that. So think about and acknowledge the love-based choices that you have made in your life, whether it's one or two or three, whichever ones pop up, and reflect on how great it was that you made that choice and how it made you feel. How am I actively choosing to enjoy life? Y'all, in the midst of all these changes that we're all going through, because it wasn't just last year that was incredibly transformational. This year is also incredibly transformational, and sometimes we can get lost in the sauce of doing the work, of diving into all this uncertainty and feeling overwhelmed. And sometimes we just need a prompt that gets us thinking about how we are actively choosing to enjoy life. Because y'all, first of all, if we're not having fun living life, then we're doing this whole thing wrong, okay? We are here to enjoy life and to have fun. The reason why we end up spending so much time having to heal ourselves is because humans have created a society in which we have to heal from and structures that we have to heal from. And we're not going to get into that. But life's pure essence is to enjoy being alive, is to enjoy the fruits of our labor and the labor of the divine, and how beautiful nature is, how beautiful the sky is, how beautiful relationships with other people are, and the people that we love, how beautiful love is, and just really basking in that, enjoying that. Really having that childlike nature is our true nature. And so some of these prompts, I don't feel like they're really that heavy. I mean, maybe they might be. Some things might come up. So I really just wanted to provide us a prompt that was a little more on the lighthearted side, because love and lightheartedness is also a huge theme that is occurring right now, that we are in the midst of. So how are you actively choosing to enjoy life? And if you haven't already been actively choosing to enjoy life, let this be the time where you decide to actively enjoy life. Every single day, do something where you are actively choosing to enjoy your life, regardless of where you are or how you are or what your environment looks like or where you are on your journey. You are worthy of enjoying life, whether that's sitting down and watching a movie uninterrupted, whether that's going on a 3-hour walk and you feel like you should be working anyways, but no, you are worthy of that 3-hour walk. So how are you actively choosing to enjoy life? Really, really encourage you to do this prompt and to reflect on this prompt and to commit to actively enjoying life every single day, because that is what we're meant to be doing in this life, in every lifetime. Lastly, but not leastly, because I am stepping into these new cycles with new lessons, what am I ready and eager for? So, in light of this new moon, in light of this empowered new moon, because it's also a solar eclipse, I couldn't leave you without a prompt that gets you thinking about what it is that you're ready and eager for. Because in the midst of this newfound sense of self that is emerging, I already know that you also feel eager to do XYZ, to be XYZ, to no longer accept XYZ. There is this sense of readiness. There is this sense of eagerness. And I want to acknowledge those feelings, because all feelings are worthy of recognition, and it is so important for us to acknowledge everything that we're feeling, because our feelings are connecting us to our intuition. Our feelings are letting us know what's up. So if we feel ready right now for something, if we feel eager right now for something, then that has meaning, that has purpose. So because we are stepping into new cycles with new lessons, what are we ready for? What are we eager for? Yes. Whew. That, my friends, are the 8 journal prompts for this new moon in Gemini. That is also a solar eclipse. And I hope that you resonated or felt called to choose one or more of these prompts. Again, you don't have to do all of these prompts. Don't feel pressure to do all of them. Just do the ones that you resonate with the most, that really call to you and speak to you, and you feel like are going to help you process all that's going on in your mind and in your life, and really guide you in your reflections. And as always, I am so honored to be a part of your reflection process, to be a part of your new moon ritual, to be a part of your journaling. Truly, 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 I am so honored. And if you end up choosing one or more of these prompts, I would love to know which ones you end up choosing in the comments below. I really hope that you all enjoy these prompts. I know that a lot of you are increasingly looking forward to these videos, and I'm just like, I hope that they enjoy these. They really do come from what I intuitively feel is going on with the collective right now, and also just from what I learned from the astrologers that I love and what it is that they had to say regarding this moon. So, y'all, remember that you are exactly where you are meant to be. You are not behind. And just really be graceful in your journey, okay? Don't be so hard on yourself. Life is hard and confusing and uncertain as it is. Don't make it harder on yourself. You are beautiful, you are worthy, you are purposeful, you are healing. Be proud of that. You are trying. Be proud of that. I know that I'm definitely proud of you. And I'm also grateful that you are trying to heal yourself, that you are trying to be better, because that contributes goodness to the world. And I'm part of that world that you are living in. So your contribution also affects me. Your healing also affects me, and my healing affects you. We really truly are. We really truly are all one. So let's continue to spread high vibrations, to be proud of ourselves and our efforts, to prioritize our well-being. And I hope to see you in my next video. Love and appreciate you all. Have a beautiful new moon. I will see you again in my next video. Bye.